your business can be profitable and you still go broke. Let's talk about cash flow. What is cash flow? Cash flow is simply the flow of money in and out of your business. Like literally just tracking what are the things that take money out of your business in terms of like expenses, and then how money comes in terms of like revenue, maybe credit, loan, like literally that process of money going out and money coming in, and ensuring that you have enough free cash to be able to attend to the things that are going out. And then, of course, having enough free cash to be able to attend to the things that are going out speaks to the inflow, right? And then also just managing the things that are going out, ensuring that you have enough free cash to be able to manage your financial obligation. Okay, so simply, cash flow talks about business survival, like literally. So let me give you an example. Profit most of the time, you probably will not get it until like maybe at the end of the month when you're done sorting revenue and all of those things. And then, yeah, I know that we're all about revenue. But during the course of the month, what keeps the business still active and alive is the cash flow. It means that during the course of the month, you have enough free cash to be able to manage your obligation. You can get inventory. Don't forget that you pay salary, you pay rent, you pay for light. You are buying inventory to be able to produce your goods. All of these things happen during the course of the month, right? So having that money to be able to attend to those needs, that is what cash flow actually speaks to. Having enough cash to cover this. Like I said, remember what I said. Either the money is coming from revenue, it's a loan, it's one thing or another thing. So that's pretty much, it's more important. Let me give you a typical example. I don't know if anybody here remembers, or maybe you've like met it before. You know, all these women that sell akara on the road. And then a lot of time, it's not like they buy everything in bulk. They start in the morning, they go and speak to Elewa, they collect beans on credit, and then they process the beans, it turns to akara, they sell akara. By the end of the day, they pay Elewa, they remove their profit and all of that. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Imagine that there was no Elewa to give them free beans and they did not have enough money to buy the beans to even start the akara business. So there's literally no business to start with. So that's the difference. Cash flow conversation is a conversation of business survival. Remember what I said about how cash flow is a question of everyday operations. So there are daily, financial requirements that you're doing business. You need to buy this, you need to buy that, you need to pay for this. In the process of, product manufacturing, in the process of delivering the service that you need. Let me give you an example. Imagine that you are into a service business and then a client calls you to come and do a job, and then you need to hire a big truck to be able to get to the client's place and all of those things. And as at that moment, there is no cash to be able to do the things that you need to do to get to that client. It means that you cannot deliver that service. So that everyday ability to be able to meet your financial obligation, that is what cash flow actually speaks to. And that is why it is very, very important. The ideal thing is at the beginning of the month, you're supposed to like map out, your cash flow report in terms of what are the financial obligations of the business for this month. And based on our inflow, how many of these can we cover? If you check the bigger businesses, some of them at the beginning of the month, when they've mapped this out, they can see that, we need about 200 million to be able to run operation, not just operations actually, it might be like they need to buy new inventory and all of that. And they look at cash at hand. What do we have? We don't have enough to cover this. Then they come up with solutions like, can we get a loan? Some of them, it might not even be loan. Like, can we get a supplier that can supply us on credit until the end of the month, buying extra time to be able to cover operations? And you know that definitely by the end of the month, you have your money, so you can take your profit and definitely pay back your supplier. So yes, cash flow is very, very important when it comes to business daily operations. So what happens to a business that ignores cash flow? Like, you can just get to the middle of the month and then you have unmet obligations. And you know what this means. So remember the example I gave earlier, like, you need 200 million and you realize that you don't have enough cash to be able to meet that. And you were able to quickly, proactively come up with a solution by saying that let's get on credit from our vendor or quickly get a credit note from a bank to be able to do this. So imagine that there was no cash flow analysis at the beginning of the month. So it means that you just get to the middle of the month and then you realize that as a business, you have a financial obligation that you cannot meet. So there is that. I feel like that's like one of the most important things. And then that's why you have companies that, yes, it looks like they are good, but at the end of the month, they can't pay salary for their staff. Why? Because they were met with more financial obligation than they planned for. So now they've done the external one, pay for inventory, try to do the supply and all of that. And of course, the one that comes last is the salary. And then you also feel like, their staff, they should understand. So you end up not paying your guys. And you know the consequence of not paying your staff. I'm sure you don't want that. Whose responsibility is cash flow? All that cash flow conversation when it comes to business. Yeah, I know that a lot of people feel like, I'm not a numbers person. It's my finance people's headache. Yes, finance will crunch the number. But really, I think it is a leadership responsibility, because there are decisions that come as a result of cash flow analysis that finance alone will not be able to do that. I think it's a leadership responsibility, because it's enough for finance to crunch the number and tell you that based on our financial obligation for this month and the inflow that we have, we might not be able to do X, Y, Z. But then that's just data. It is now left for leadership to be able to say that based off of this, these are strategic decisions that we're going to make to be able to prepare for the month and ensure that the business is thereby limiting your business exposure. It can be a good point to say that, oh, we're not selling on credit anymore because of this, or say that this month, any expense that we want to make as a business, we need to ensure that the vendor can give us like a 30 days notice period before payment. There's just a lot of things that come from there. But if you don't pay attention to cash flow as the leadership or as management, you just see it like another report in finance. You don't know your business exposure in terms of, are we good to go? Like, cash flow conversation is a conversation of survival. And I don't think business of survival and sustainability is just limited to the finance table. If you check my bio, I've attached a free cash flow template that is easy to use. You will need it. You're welcome.